Okay, it's The Mind with Dr. Ruth Allison and my trusty assistant, Clareka.
Yes.
Welcome again.
Hello, everyone.
We are talking about the generations, and I love talking to you because we're from different generations.
Yes.
I'm not getting ready to tell my complete age, but just put it. I'm a like 3 times your age, maybe. Maybe not that much.
Yeah,
but
not that much.
A lot. So we were talking about relationships. So I wanted to know how people in your generation view the gender issue, for instance. That, you know, when I came along, gender wasn't even an issue.
Yeah.
And so let's start with that. How do you view that?
I feel like my generation is, of course, more accepting, and I feel like they look at it as whatever makes them happy, whatever makes them, you know, their mental state, whatever makes that good. Generation is more about happiness, joy, and just living a peaceful life.
Like whatever, no limits, no nothing. Now, of course, you're in your 20s.
Yes.
Right? I'm in my 60s, so we are, you know, I grew up in different times, and we had rules to follow. We had expectations. We were, you know, building on a foundation that was already laid by another generation. And I've got to tell you that we thought our parents were, you know, kind of stiff and sticklers, and we were trying to get our freedoms as well. But it seems like you guys have taken freedom to a whole another level. And I think the word that gets me in our conversation now is whatever. Do you really mean like whatever?
I mean, it depends on like everyone does not have the same, you know, whatever limits. And you brought up compassion, and I like to bring up compassion because when I was younger, I looked at people that had kind of problems. Like, I grew up in, like, I wouldn't say the hood, but like the south side. And I would see at certain times people on drugs. And at first I was like 10, 11, 12, like young. I didn't know any better. And in my head, I thought at the time, like, they're just acting crazy. But now that I'm older and mature, I kind of have more compassion. I'm like, with trauma, like with childhood trauma, with abandonment, like I don't look at them as they're acting out. I look at is what caused this, or what are they going through. Like I look from a different standpoint. And I feel like if people looked at people from compassion versus they're acting out, or like their child is acting out at school, and it's like if I see a child acting out, I'm not like, oh, of course I'm thinking this child is, you know, doesn't have the right discipline or whatever. But I'm like, what's going on? I question like what's going on at home. The mom, the dad, how are they talking to the child? How are they disciplining the child? How are they loving on the child?
So you're going beyond whatever the behavior is to whatever is driving the behavior.
That's what I look at.
But does that mean that you accept any kind of behavior?
Oh, no.
Doesn't that mean, and I think some of my generation is saying, well, wait a minute, there are consequences for behavior. So sometimes you have to deal with the behavior first.
Yes.
And I think in my generation, we want to have structure. We want to have limits. We want to have rules and regulations, and to say this is how we do it, and this is the system, and let's work within this system. Do you see any value in that?
Yes, of course. I feel like discipline, of course, but I feel like after you discipline your child, you should be like, this is why I did it. This is why, you know, explain to your child, this is not right, and this what could lead to this, or you keep going this route, instead of like this discipline your child out of anger. Have a talk afterwards, or maybe, you know, have a talk instead of just all the time, you know? Because sometimes the child could probably feel like they just getting disciplined and not taught anything.
And even in a situation where people have maybe gone too far with a chemical or a drug situation, or even a sexual situation, to have a conversation to get some understanding. and some compassion going about what is really going on.
Yes, more conversations need to be had.
Okay, because, all right, we'll talk about this next. Not only are there conversations, but there are consequences. Okay, so I think my generation is looking into say, listen, there are consequences to how you use time, how you use money, how you use affection, how you use your body, whatever it is, there are also consequences. So you guys may be thinking, oh, whatever makes you happy. And I'm not trying to mock you. I'm having a little fun. But we know down the road there's some consequences to that action. So let's keep talking, okay? Okay. Thanks for joining us on The Mind. There is value. There are diamonds and gold and so much value in us listening and communicating with each other. So thanks.
You're welcome.
Thanks very much. All right. See you next time.